Oh, no, they won't let the last three load. They went 3 hours. And it's not that I'm not impatient at all. Okay. It's wrong for someone that is intelligently communicating with human beings, and then trying to correct the quantum computing technology that's supposed to make sense of the human life, to be censored by people that are wrong. It's wrong. Um, Lie is an invention. Okay, do you understand? Okay. It's one thing for an insect to to trap other insects to eat to live, and stuff like that. That's one thing. Deception is one thing, but lie is an invention. You know, there's a magic place in the heavens where we disperse this thing. It became part of us. I watched some of that 2011, the Emerald Knights of the whatchamacallit, the Green Lantern, right? And I'm sitting there watching. It's like, this is just insulting to anybody's intelligence. But most make believe stuff is. And you're sitting there watching it, and it's the first lantern, and he's going through, and there's this destruction to the chaos came, and they're destroying everything, all these spaceships, and they're going through and just obliterating all these spaceships, and that made them the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And you're like, okay. You have people that, if you ever got to that point, okay, to where you'd have to destroy your own planets, okay, to build the word machines to go attack and destroy these other planets, right? Like growing up in the 70s and the 60s, with the duck and cover bullshit, right? And the Cold War and the nuclear annihilation. It's like, but it's what the fuck? It's like, seriously? Okay. So when you get to that point, you're like, no, they just take their imaginations and they go even further with it. And it's lie. Right. And lie is an invention. Okay. Truth, you need water and clean water to live. You need oxygen and not carbon emission poisoning. So when you look at truth and you understand the invention of lie, you categorically just reject lie and cling to truth. You embrace truth with all your being, right? And so lie is a manipulation that makes people that are manipulating feel powerful. Okay. And truthful people are not manipulated by their own lies. Where people that perceive themselves as powerful are manipulated by their own lies. And we've talked about this numerous times. And I've tried to explain it to people. You guys do know that, my life story is in the book of Revelation. And my life is based on truth. And I'm the person that comes along and tells you about that story and what's going on in my head and what's going on with the people that they base my life story off of in the past. The first lantern, like sitting there watching this. Oh, son of a bitch, goddamn. And I said, yeah, I said it. I should just say, goddamn, I said it. Okay. And so, because that's how you feel. And it's okay to be human and express like a human and say, well, is the quantum computing having problems there? I don't know. The quantum computing isn't helping me get people to understand how to understand and share the faithful communications of the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer. So I don't sit there and I have faith in the Guardians and I believe in them. Now I'm going to blow up all these spaceships because I'm afraid of them, right? It's like 2013 or 14 when those gentlemen from NASA told me if I knew it was in space, I'd be scared too. And I'm like, why? I'm like, you guys know me. You know what my life is like. You know what type of person I am. How did you come down here and say we work for NASA and if you knew what was up there, you'd be scared too? How did you sit down and rationally think, let's go talk to him and let's say this to him. I was like, I don't understand. And I explained it to him, So it's the space aliens that are making everybody be shitty. So the Wakanda cartoon with the Nazis being aliens. Oh, wow, I did not know. Son of a bitch. So that one guy with the whacked out hair who looks like Heat Miser that's on the History Channel all the time is right about the moon being put there by aliens. Oh, I did not know that. That Holy Quran's full of crap, man, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm facetious. I'm being facetious. What it says in the Holy Quran is that when the celestial bodies came together and the forming of the moon, okay, was what was the causality for us to have life as we know it on planet Earth. That, you needed the moon as well as the sun for life as we know it as human beings on planet Earth. That's what it says in the Quran. And everybody that's a scientist knows that, yeah, that's true. Right? And this was said before a scientist discovered that was true and explained it, right? It's in the Quran. And that's when that one guy came and talked to me who claimed to be a Christian and said, no, Muhammad's wrong. He says Jesus isn't God. And I said, no, Jesus is not God. Jesus is the messenger of faith in God. And Jesus it's not worship of the sun. Jesus is not, it's not worship of the moon. He's saying we don't have life as human beings until, the moon. And that's the truth. It's in science class. Everybody knows it, right? Okay. It's in science class, yeah. So he's saying that, and then so that's where they always got that thing. Well, they're just typing information from great scientists as charismatic cult leaders. Okay. That's the way the scientists see myself and Muhammad and Sun Yat-sen, and it's which is when you look at Sun Yat-sen and you look at his life. And you look at the things that were like prophecy of Chinese existence and who this man was and who he was going to be. Same with Judah Krishnamurti, okay? And you look at these men and you look at the validation of their existence. And then you realize, okay, this is possibly most likely the man that was most like Confucius. Okay, he's the real deal, okay? So, and Confucius isn't taken and turned into God or mythology or anything like that. Confucius, the crystallization of Confucius, because Tao comes and says it's wrong to crystallize and say that, this is the way it is. What Confucius said is don't accept lie, don't accept abuse, and make sure that the truth prevails to sustain us. And that's basically Confucius. And then they crystallized Confucius, and Tao said, no, that's wrong. Okay? Do not crystallize. Okay? And that's where Bruce Lee gets, be the water, my friend. Right? And he gets that it's not by accident. It's by him, that one Shaolin guy trying to explain this. So it's not a blueprint. It's just understanding the molecular structures that are a continuation of the temples of the spirit. Okay. And that's an easier way to say it. They're just trying to modernize it to sell it. And you don't sell it. You confirm it and believe it. You don't accept the invention of lie. And you understand the validity of the truth, And so it's cool, man. I love Sun Yat-sen so much. We had some talks today, and it's just wow. Because I sat and watched all the suffering of all the people in China on the internet with all the floods and the mountains and I couldn't stop crying. And then the ignorance made me so sad. And then these families build these houses, and these houses go poof, and they're trying to build memories, and they're trying to do, and it's not sustainable because all the people that are manipulating them with money and economics and great leadership and all that stuff are just destroying these people's traditional existence. And it's depressing. And I remember watching all that stuff. United States have this great thing. Just, if they have it, that you got helicopters. Just fly what they need in with helicopters if they need anything. You got cell phones, talk. And Billy Bob Thornton will tell them, "Oh, here, I got a signal. Well, we need some of this. We're out of that." Right. Just like what's happening in Gaza today, and you're like looking at, don't mind my crummy, I'm just like, the one Dr. Price says the worst case he ever saw, and I was like, you obviously weren't in Gaza. Okay. His malnutrition because his mom didn't eat right because Georgiev tried to talk her into miscarrying the baby because she lied to him and said that I raped her to try to keep her in the marriage. And that's not me. You know me. I love kids and I love my wife. And I wouldn't do anything diabolical to my wife. I would just try to, I used to tell Amy, you can leave, but please stay. Because I think I would have been okay if she left after the kids left. After Crummy was 18, now you can go. But when you get together and you make kids and I'm the only dad they know, stay with me until the last one is had his home. And then after that you can go. But then by that, she's like, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. And you're like, there is no thrill to living, wasting your time with narcissistic people on Bachelor in Paradise. They're shallow, and there's no substance to them. Their lives aren't meaningful, and there's no, how many people throughout time in the past just wanted a house, a home, a family, and a man who loved us so, who believed she'd leave us to join the burlesque show. During the burlesque show, because she wanted to compare herself to others and attract more superficiality from others to feel better than others. So don't play football and get head injuries that make it to where you can't function anymore as a human being. Stand up for the Lord's Prayer. I'll load this one, see if it loads. If it doesn't load, I'm working on the quantum computing. It's very difficult, and they made this very difficult for me. I know a lot of this stuff seems very abstract, but I have a lot of things coming at me at once, and I'm trying to correct the computing errors through human manipulation with computing, so it's very hard. But just be patient with me. I know I'm way more patient with you than you are with me, but hang in there. Trust me, I'm the guy from the Book of Revelation. And the stories are based on reality, and they're based on my life and not by the mythology that people that say Jesus doesn't have enough money yet to put together the Emerald Knights of the Green Lanterns to conquer the universe in the name of corporations. Okay, guys, I love you very much. Peace out.